everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking pantry organization. I'm going to share with you my real life pantry. I really wanted to set this tour apart in that it's not going to be Pinterest perfect, Instagram perfect, where everything is in a container, everything is decanted into a glass or acrylic container. This is our real life pantry that works for us. There are still things thrown on the shelf like normal people do. And then there are organization tools that have really changed my life. I know that's dramatic to say, but it has really helped with the functionality of my pantry. And there are things that you can use in a variety of different pantry sizes. So my pantry is not your typical pantry. It's considered a butler's pantry or a prep pantry, but a lot of these things I would have loved to have had in my last pantry, which was just a typical like closet pantry. It might have been considered walk-in, but you just walk straight in and it's just a bunch of shelves. And so these things could have been utilized there, and I wish I had had them years ago. So hopefully you find this helpful. Maybe there's something new here you've never heard of before. Some of the things I got just recently and they've been game changers. So I'm hoping that this is able to change your pantry game. And so let's just get started. We're gonna start on this side right here. I have shelving all right here for food, and then we'll go the other side. I also have upper and lower shelving as well. And I'm gonna get into the nitty gritty. Like, you're gonna see all my food that we have. We don't have a lot right now. All of the snowstorms in Texas have wiped out the grocery stores. So there's a lot that's missing, and it might not be like our normal stuff, but you're really gonna get to see like everything we have in here. I did not take any food out. So you're gonna see exactly what we have, how we keep it, and how it works for us and makes life a lot more functional. So here's like a better view of the shelves we're gonna be looking at. Basically floor to ceiling, so obviously least used things go up here, and then things I can actually reach is our most used stuff. But up here is my husband's shelf. It's a lot of grilling stuff, pans, grill brushes, and as you can tell, it's definitely the man shelf because everything's hanging over the edge and driving me crazy and not organized. But that really goes to show you men versus women. Then we have an alcohol shelf, which doesn't really need to be organized because we don't have just a ton of stuff. So we've got it all lined up there. We're also not heavy drinkers, so it's up on a taller shelf. Here's where we get to the good stuff. So I have a Lazy Susan right here for all of our condiments and kind of back stock of things like canned chicken for chicken salad. Normally right here, we're out right now, but I keep like extra Chick-fil-A sauces and ketchup packets and things like that. But this is just a great way to see what I have on hand that I don't have to go buy. It's kind of like back stock of garlic and sauces, just different condiments. And a Lazy Susan just makes it so easy. They're not stacked all the way to the back in this deep shelf to where I'm knocking things over to look, or they just get lost in the process and then they go expired. You'll also see I have Lazy Susans in like corner areas, and that's where it's the most functional. You could definitely put like a big acrylic box here, but the Lazy Susan I had an extra, so I put it here. This was a game changer, and I would have killed for this in my old pantry. I don't know why I never thought about it or just didn't look them up on Amazon. This canned food organizer is so handy, so functional. I did just have like an entire shelf full and everything was stacked one on top of the other. Like I said, things in the back would go expired because I did not know that I had them. This, I'm able to actually organize each section and type of canned foods, and then I can see so easily what I have. It has been so nice to have, and I really wish I had one a long time ago. Now here's where you're gonna see more of a real life pantry. I have a lot of cereals here, crackers. In the back, I usually have crackers and maybe things for salads. And these are not decanted, these are not in a container. They're stacked in here like you would see in a normal pantry, and that's the way I like it. I've honestly thought about getting a container for cereals, the really cool ones that have like a clear container and then you turn the handle and it puts it into the bowl. That would just look really cool, but for the most part, this is really functional for us. The things I keep back here, I don't use often, and then the kids can reach the cereals. They're here where they can see them. They're cheese crackers, so this just works for us. But then this organizer right here has been a lifesaver. Another thing I wish I'd had years ago. It keeps your plastic wrap. You can put your Ziploc bags, your full and parchment paper. These would always fall off the shelves at my old house, and I so wish I had this. I could probably use another one right here and put like the sandwich bags and the little snack bags on it. It just makes it to where you can stack them so nicely and you're utilizing more of your shelf space, and it's not all spread out and taking up some of the other areas. So I love this thing, and maybe one day I'll get another one to put beside it. Now these are just some plastic bins from Target. I've had these for forever. I think I actually had them in the bathroom at one point, but I wanted something to contain pouches, like yogurt pouches, applesauce pouches. So we have these in there. And then when Mason was little, he would do baby food pouches, and we'd have them completely full all the way to the back. These are just a great way to hold little snacks. They're not acrylic, so they're not really expensive. They're just the plastic ones from Target, but you could get different colors. I just went with the clear to where they kind of just blend in with the pantry, but they're a much more inexpensive way to hold stuff instead of acrylic containers. Now on this shelf, we did utilize acrylic containers, and this is a shelf that would normally just be haphazard. You throw anything down there. It's basically a miscellaneous shelf. So we've got muffin mix, we've got bread mixes, we've got pecans, popcorn, mac and cheese, cornbread, hot chocolate. So the acrylic containers really help keep it all together, help keep this shelf from being a total disaster. It makes it so much easier to see what you have because things are not falling over or being hidden. I can actually see what's back here, and it always has a place to go. You can also see we have 3 different sizes here. A large, medium, and small. I bought a lot of different sizes when we moved in because I didn't know what I'd need, and it just so happened that all 3 fit right here pretty well and left me a space for, we normally have a stack of paper plates right here. And on the bottom is our drink shelf. I have another very large, deep acrylic container, and we normally keep backup juices for the kids. And then we have a little spot for water, and then this right here, another game changer. Instead of having a huge cardboard box of Dr. Peppers for my husband, this makes it so much more compact. And as you can see, we're out right now. We only have 1 left, but it will fit a 24 pack of Dr. Peppers. And it makes it so much more compact, also easier to get to the cans and to know when you're running low. So instead of a deep, dark box of Dr. Pepper, not knowing that you only have 1 left, it's very easy to see that you only have a couple left and when it's time to buy more. If you have floor space in your pantry, this would also be a great way to take up just a small amount of space instead of a really big cardboard box. So over here on this side of the pantry, we have shelving as well. Let me close this door so you can see a little better. So we have upper shelving right here, and then we have shelving underneath our countertops. Oh, I also want to mention our bread box. So we had this out on the kitchen counter in our last house, and it's on the counter here now, but I know a lot of pantries aren't going to have countertop space. But this is a great way to keep all of your bread products together and out of sight. It just makes it very nice and visually pleasing to have it out on your counter in your kitchen instead of just like loaves of bread and tortillas strewn everywhere. This one is just really nice and sleek and looks great on the countertop, and I love just knowing where everything is. This one's actually really huge. We normally can get at least 2 loaves of bread, and then we have tortillas at the bottom. Right now we're out. The snowstorm in Texas, I cannot find bread anywhere. Okay, let's go through the top shelves. We're gonna start in the corner over here, and yes, I do have that much Spam, in case you saw that and you're wondering. We love Spam, and we don't eat it very often, but after quarantine, when it was hard to find food at the grocery store, we bought a Sam's Club pack of Spam because it's shelf stable and we'll always have something that we could eat. If anything like that ever happens again, we just have something in the pantry. So just explaining the Spam because it's not a food most people eat. Okay, so up here we do have some things stacked in here that aren't in containers, but they're large items that are easy to pick up and move, and I normally know what is up here. This is a little drink section. I have this little, I got this from True Lemon on their website, but it is the niftiest little caddy for your sticks and lemon packets. And then behind it, I just have the refills of the boxes. So here is where the Lazy Susan really comes in handy, is this corner shelf. This would be so deep and hard to see anything, but since I have the Lazy Susan, it's very easy to see exactly what I have on hand. And one day I probably need to get one for this corner as well. So I didn't want to spend my entire life savings all at one time, so I got pretty much the bare minimum, and then I was gonna wait and see what is functional and what I'm actually using and what I could use more of. And if you have deep corners, I would highly recommend a Lazy Susan for each of them. So here I finally have something in an acrylic container. I love the ones with the handles, but I love this one because these are larger items that are stacked back here in a shelf, but they're actually really heavy. All right, I'm setting you up there so I can show you. So this stuff is actually really heavy, and so it would be hard to move everything that was in the front to see what's in the back. So having it in this, I can pull it all out at once and you can actually see everything that you have. So these are like salsas, hot sauce, salsa verde, and then in the back we have some steak marinade and Worcestershire sauce. So these are like heavier glass bottles and containers. It's a great way to keep it all together so you can actually pull it out and see what you have. So this way things aren't getting lost in the back. This little area hasn't really needed any special attention. I don't really need a container for anything. We just have like waffle mixes and I keep the syrup in front, spaghetti right here, and then peanut butter. And like I said, I probably need to get a Lazy Susan for back here. But for now, it's just kind of an emptier space, so it doesn't need it at the moment. These, however, are life-changing. I love these little containers. Okay, so let me show you this one. It's a little bit more empty and you can see. It is a 3-section container, and this one doesn't get a whole lot of use. I have Verb bars in it, and then Modere, which I never really liked and don't take. And also I'm not a snacker, so the Verb bars I haven't eaten much of. Can you tell I'm like heavily Instagram influenced right here? This one, however, is my bread and butter. It's so handy to have all of your spices right here, standing up so you can see what you have. I have some Kool-Aid packets, and then right here is steak marinade, a lot of Italian dressing. That's onion soup mix, and then I have an entire section for ranch seasoning, then taco seasoning, and back here I have gravies and yeast, and then that one I think is just like a dip mix. This has just been so handy for keeping seasonings upright. I used to just throw them in the pantry and you can't see what you have. So this actually keeps them upright on the shelf so you can see them a whole lot easier. I have to get up on a ladder to actually show this one to you well. Oh. I would really like to have like a rolling ladder built in, like a library ladder. But yeah, for now I just have a little step stool. Okay, this is what I wanted to show up here. This is a lot of things that I don't use very often, but instead of them getting lost in like a spice cabinet, I have them up here on this riser. It has 3 separate shelves, and I can just glance up here and know exactly what I have or what I need. So like baking powder, cornstarch, baking soda, food colorings and extracts, and then like refills of kosher salt. And I usually have pepper up there, so that means I'm out and I know that I need it. But without having the riser, you would not be able to see all this. So this was really great to keep these up on the top shelf and out of the way, but I can still glance up here and easily see everything that I have. I used another Lazy Susan right here because this is my coffee stuff, but a lot of it I don't use all the time. So it's up and out of the way, but I can easily, so I can actually reach this from the ground and I can flip it around and see what I have up here. Have some K-Cup pods right here. Can I just say that I love that they're making the boxes this way so that they're already organized. You don't need something to decant them in. You can just open it up like this and easily grab them off your shelf. So I love that they started making them this way. And so here's an example of me trying to be all Pinterest and Instagram worthy and decant our snacks into these nice little acrylic containers. These right here are Teddy Grahams, and they're very, very old. They did not get eaten. These normally had like Cheez-It crackers or pretzels or something in them like that. And my kids just don't eat them. If they are decanted into these canisters, they look really pretty, but they don't tend to go for them. They want like the brightly colored box. So I just wanted to say, I don't ever use these for snacks. They just sit up here now. I need to find a use for them, but that's just an example of something that looks really great in a picture is not always functional for your family. So that one was a big fail for me. This, however, is our snack section that gets used a ton. So I have these little acrylic containers, again, that have the handles. Whoops. So I keep packaged snacks in these containers, and taking them out of the box really helps save space. And then you can also see what you have and how many you have left. But we have crackers here, and then I have breakfast bars. I do keep the oatmeal in their package, but I have cream of wheat and oatmeal with more breakfast bars. I tried these today for the first time. They are disgusting. They taste like a protein bar. Yeah, just a little FYI. But yeah, these containers are easy for me to take down. I can refill them when I get home from the grocery store and easily slide them back up here. But the kids are able to come in here, see everything in their little snack section and grab something. Normally it's a little bit more stock than this, but like I said, the grocery stores are out of everything right now. Up here are things I don't use often or just refills like flour, sugar, oats. But I do have that same container right here just full of sprinkles. So I love to make cupcakes. And sprinkles are another thing that would get easily knocked over or lost in the back. So to have them all in a container, just like this one, a larger container that I can pull down from the shelf up there when I'm baking. Now these containers are obviously useful. These are flour, sugar, and powdered sugar, and I use them all the time. I've had them for years, actually. They're the OXO brand. Now right here's kind of the baking section. It's not anything nice and pretty, but I think one of these handled containers would go great right here to hold the cookies, brownies, chocolate chips, and things like that. But for now, it doesn't have to be in a container because there's not a lot of it. Same with chips. No need to have it in a big chunky container. I do have shelf space for it, so I just line them up right here. Very easy to see what we have. And my husband eats a lot of chips, and so I don't want to hide these away. I want to be able to see exactly what we have. This really just works for us. Now let's talk about the deep shelf space down here. These are for the things that you don't necessarily want to see all the time. And what you'll see on Instagram, on Pinterest, on beautiful pantries is gorgeous like woven baskets down here. But if you've ever shopped for a nice woven basket, you'll know that they're very expensive. And if you see an entire like pantry or the bottom floor lined up with those, then you know they spent a fortune on them. Like I said, they're gorgeous. But I wanted the same concept without spending an absolute fortune. So these are just cloth cubes from Amazon. These are the ones you put like in a cube system, but they slide so easily. I don't have to worry about them scratching my shelves because they are cloth. So I love that about them. And then of course the thing I love most is that I could get a whole lot of them for a very little price. I could probably buy 6 of these for the price of maybe 2 woven baskets. So if you have deep shelf space, I would highly recommend something like this, so where you can pull out a lot of stuff at once and then you can get to whatever is in the back very easily. That wasn't the best example because there's not a whole lot in the back. Here's a good example. Like I have these down here. If you pull out the one in front, you can get to the one in the back. So you're not digging through a bunch of stuff and have to remove everything from the shelf one by one. You can just pull out an entire drawer of things and easily get to what's in the back. So you'll keep the stuff you use more often in the front and then put a basket of stuff in the back, especially if the shelf is deep enough. Just because I know people are nosy, this one is like Tupperware. This one is actually a bunch of cookbooks and recipes. This is more stuff that I use, potatoes, onions, wheat thins. This one I use all the time. It's Nespresso pods and my tea, sugar in the raw for my coffee. Over here, we have snacks. This is kind of like a back stock of snacks. There's also potatoes in here. That's what's in the bag. Here we have waffle makers. Yes, I have an entire drawer of waffle makers because I love these mini dash ones, and I buy one for every season. And then we have our big one as well. This just helps me move everything at once. It's so handy. And then back here I have a bunch of like hot and cold bags, but you can see how nicely these baskets hide all of that. So it's not what you're looking at and it doesn't look messy, but you can hide it back behind there. And then when you're needing one, you can just slide these right out. It just makes life a whole lot more simple if you have deep spaces. Now this I need to pull out and show you because it's a more recent purchase and I love it. So this is a pan organizer, and I did have all of these pans stacked on the shelves, and every time I needed one, I was just fumbling, pulling everything out. So now I have this organizer. They sit in here vertically, and I line them up from my most used to my least used. So I can pull the whole thing out if I need to get to something in the back. But the first two I can easily access from the front, and it's so nice just to be able to pull this out. It's separated from the rest. This, I just so happened to come across on Amazon. I'd never seen anything like it before, but it's been so handy. Love that. So that is it. That is all of my food pantry organization. I hope that you enjoyed this. Like I said, I wanted to keep it as real life as possible and share with you things that I had never seen before, or I just wasn't interested in organizing my last pantry, but these things would have been lifesavers. So I hope they are helpful for you too. So thank you all again for joining me today and spending time with me, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.